So good afternoon, March the 6th, 2014. This is CISG114, Section 1, Web Technology and Live. Today is day number 7 in week number 4. Let's get started. Welcome back. This is a very cold day. It's windy and I'm so warm by so many of you coming back, having lunch already. So this is week number 4. The last week for the theme for inquiry-based learning before we step into self-regulated learning. Now let's go back to take a good look at the work you should have done in the past 3 to 4 weeks. Week number 1, if you have done the journal enough, when you look back to your journal, you should have the feelings that you know what it means by coming to terms with Web 2.0 in our daily living. Have you chosen a journal topic which could give you some answers to this very much interesting thing? And the way we're going to review today is to ask yourself questions on inquiry-based learning. If you were to answer, to share with someone the meanings of coming to terms with Web 2.0 in our daily living, how would you start? What kind of information would you share with that person? 1, 2, 3, at most 3. Okay, and that's what we call the observations. So, in the first week of our study, we introduced you to different resources of this course support environment, and then we invite you to explore a little bit on the meaning of active learning. And then this is the very last week, and this week, let's take a look at the themes of the different week first, or better say the topics. So in week number 2, the theme is again inquiry-based learning, but the topic is common module number 1, Introduction to IT and Knowledge Society. Again, question it. If someone is sitting next to you and you're going to share with that particular person something about IT and Knowledge Society, 1, 2, 3 pieces of things you can share with them, what observable phenomenon would you suggest? Okay, these are very interesting questions to start up with the conversations. And if we go to week number 3, the common module number 2 and number 3, well, if you notice that it's about ethics, okay? Ethics in the context of the intellect era and social responsibility in the context of the intellect era, and we often term this information age. So what would you suggest to a friend who has no idea of what is meant by ethics or social responsibility in the information age? And then in week number 3, we also come to the concept of the digital divide in the 21st century, and we watched some videos on how individuals, groups, teachers, or university as a whole could help close the digital divide gap. And then the last week, which is this week, week number 4, we come to try to understand the meaning of information literacy and then information competency. So today we are going to give you a review on what is meant by information literacy. Okay? Although we seem to have covered a little bit on that when we try to review the video. So let me give you a couple of minutes time today now to help you get up to speed on what is meant by information literacy. Forgive me to say it in Chinese, normally we call this 基本素養 in the context of Cantonese or Chinese. 素養 means the state of being literate in the use of information, okay? And then we have the term competency, which has something to do with the ability to demonstrate the information literacy in a particular person. For example, the ability to look up related information based on a need, okay? The ability to look up information based on a need. When you have a need for a particular form of information, you want to look it up and you access those information. When you have access enough number of such information, you go through a process called evaluation to find the relevant from those that are not so much relevant. And then you come to the very important object, which is an information that you need, and you use it. And with all the credit to the source, the ethical standard requires of us to cite the source. So that is the need, that is the access, that is the evaluate, that is the use, and that is the ethics. I think I shared with you a little bit about it. So let us go back first to discover information literacy from the perspective of what it means to be a student in the information age. Okay? watch the interpretations of what is meant by information literacy by a junior student. This is part of the presentations of the project. It took 8 minutes. Now, in the presentations here, in his or her effort to help you to understand the meaning of discover, information literacy, do you still remember what discover means? D, I, S, C, O, V, E, R. I give you 2 minutes. Can you write down the meaning of each one of these after you watch? Do you remember the basic ability? These are the steps of process you have to go through. Now, just put it down. Let's see if we could get it straight. What is meant by D? What is meant by I? What is meant by S? What is meant by C? Okay, what is meant by O? What is meant by V? What is meant by E? And what is meant by R? Now this is a very interesting interpretation, okay, produced by the student group when they have gone through a typical information literacy exercise, because these represent the steps. They have done something in the process of learning information literacy skills. Okay? And you have some time to work this out. And the best one is, of course, you can talk with one another. You still remember that? Discover. Okay? Can you write down as much as you can? Let me give you a pencil. Let me give you some pencil. I don't have one. That is the applications, okay, produced by the student by telling you what they believe is information literacy based on their experience. So it's very important. And of course, if you have the notepad or the tablet 3C with you, you should use them in class, because during the discussion time, I will give you portions of the time to discover on your own. Okay? Do you remember the meaning of discover? Okay? Discover. It's a very cute term. It's a word that you use to help you to understand the important process of information literacy. Thank you very much. So, any table can tell me what is meant by D. Define. Very good. Define what? Define who, right? Define when. Define why. Define when. And then where, right? And also define how, right? So all these are related to something of your interest. So the second letter, I, what is meant by I? Do you remember? Interpretations and objections? Inquire, yes, to ask questions, right? Inquire. So what about S? Search, right? Search. Search more. What about C? Collect. Very good. Search is not enough. After we search some way to collect them. And what about O? organize. After we collect something, we need to organize them for easier what? Verify, easier verifications to see if they are what we need. And what about E? Express, tell them, share with people, right? And what about R at the very beginning, at the very last? R. Refract. So refract is very important. What have you done? What have you collected? What have you told us? Right? Refract. So this is a very meaningful work to discover. Let me tell you one important learning I got from John Dewey, a very famous educator at the beginning of the last century. He said true learning is based on a process of discovery through mentoring rather than transmissions of knowledge. That means we must empower our students to discover things on their own, given a little bit of the advice of what you need to discover and why you need to discover, whom you need to discover, when you need to discover, where you need to discover. Okay? So thank you very much. You have done a little bit interesting stuff on discover information literacy. Okay? So let us move on to something which is very important for students to discover more. Alright? When you come to this page on project information literacy, we provide another term in front of information literacy, which could simply be called IL. We provide the word project. What does it mean? It is when you need to apply what you learn in the discovery of information literacy in the context of your assignment. Project often referred to a specific assignment. Now let's try to figure out what is it we want to get to first when we want to look up a little bit more information and why it is so. So let's go to this one. Just 1 minute.
It sounds so bad, but the first place to go for information is Wikipedia.
But I had professors say you may not go to Wikipedia.
But I do anyways. Not cited, of course.
Me too. I don't care if it's peer-reviewed or not. I just want to figure something out that I know nothing about. I mean nothing.
Didn't look what? I gotta know what it is before I can go ask someone else about it, or to find out about it. Just makes sense.
Wikipedia is awesome. It's got good English, no fluff, it's written like I can understand it. Gives me links to other stuff too. Takes me to the real stuff I need.
Sometimes when I get to the serious research, I think back and say, I thought Wikipedia said this though. But this source is disclaiming it here. That's when it gets interesting for me.
Yet, not that Wikipedia gives any real surefire evidence. Just makes me feel more comfortable, confident, ready to go on. Wikipedia is my first go-to place, but certainly not my last.
Wikipedia before? Have not. Have you used Wikipedia before? Have you? Alright? So, what is it so bad about Wikipedia that most of the professors don't like it when they say, why is it so bad? But I think from the students' point of view, it's very handy, right? What is it that is so bad about using Wikipedia? Can you think of anything else?
Just people, it's not true.
It's not true. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Tell me in secret in Cantonese. Okay. So the idea is everybody has the right to edit Wikipedia, right? The informations are produced not by recognized scholar. You and I, once we register there, we are able to write on the page, right? So the informations may not be accurate enough. Is it one reason why most of the professors will say, don't trust it? So can you think of any other reasons that your professor will say, no, Wikipedia? Have you ever experienced a professor in class that tell you, no, you're not allowed to go to Wikipedia because they are not reliable? Have you ever encountered situations like this? Okay, let me tell you a story. How old is Wikipedia? Can you tell? How old? 1 year? 2 years? 5 years? Okay, guess what? How old is Wikipedia? 10 years? Yeah. Anything more than that? 20 years? That's close. Wikipedia is very young compared to the Britannica encyclopedia. You know, whenever we have a need for information knowledge, okay, in the past, we go to the library, we go to the Britannica encyclopedia or some time encyclopedia, because these are recognized collections of knowledge in the world, right? And then we look over the pages and we discover that, oh, that is the information, although sometimes it's outdated. But we trust that these are very accurate information because they are produced by highly esteemed scholars, right? In the context of Wikipedia, you and I can write something on that. Then how can I trust the validity of Wikipedia? And so at the very beginning, when Wikipedia was born, a lot of the people criticized Wikipedia just because of that, okay? And they would say the Britannica encyclopedia has 100% prestige, and Wikipedia has less than 10, or not even 5. So people would not trust it. And then in college and university, professor would buy on this context because it's new. No one knows what kind of knowledge is there, and everyone can write on this. So whenever the student would say, oh, I got it on Wikipedia, give me a citation. Wikipedia, no way. There's no citations there. So increasingly, Wikipedia has been doing a very good work, including defining what could be included in the Wikipedia page. In the context of a scholarly journal, we love to publish something in a scholarly journal because it's never been published before anywhere else. But in the context of Wikipedia, only information that has been published in recognized outlets somewhere else could be included in the Wikipedia. If you as a writer today would like to publish in the Wikipedia, which does not have any recognized source, you can definitely be assured that tomorrow what you wrote there will not be there. Okay? But how can that be true? There's so many people on Wikipedia that could write something on it. How can they check on it? Well, they can do it. That is called communal knowledge constructions. And guess what? The idea is very simple. How many of you are using software today in your computer that is download free of charge from the internet? Many of you, right? And do you know that many of these software are not produced by a software company? They are produced by non-profit making groups or students at the university based on a model called open source software development. Open source means anybody who has the skill or technique when they create a software, if they want people to try to put it in the open source domain and everybody can download it. And people can also provide manual how to use it. And when many people have used it, they provide feedback and the author can change it for better. Now, that is called open source movement. And today, many of the organizations offering services around the world are done by people. They are called volunteers. And based on this concept, when knowledge is open sourced through Wikipedia, that means everyone is able to contribute to the knowledge of the world. Except that Wikipedia said what you contribute there must be based on some recognized source today. And guess what? After about 2 decades time, when we try to come back to the question, which one is more reliable, the Encyclopedia so-and-so Britannica and Wikipedia, they follows the same. People accept Wikipedia as it is. But do you know what? There's still a professor who does not like you to use Wikipedia for what reasons? Because we do not follow the very last stage of information literacy. We start from need, we start from, after that we come to access, and then we come to evaluate, and then we come to use. And after use we come to ethics. Ethics means what? You must give the credit to the source. And many students find that Wikipedia is so convenient, I can just do copy and paste into my homework without giving the source. And students take it as if these are my own knowledge without citation. So many of the professors will say, did you take things from Wikipedia? Doing copy and paste? No way. So you must learn how to cite from the Wikipedia for my citations. Okay? In this particular PIL, Project Information Literacy, it's trying to open up one very important context. It is a fact night today that students love to use Wikipedia. And Wikipedia is getting better and better, more accurate than ever before, and more popular than the traditional paper-based encyclopedia. Okay? Although we do have the online versions of paper-based encyclopedia, but people love to use Wikipedia because it's updated more frequently than the paper-based. Do you see the meaning of that? Okay. And you must learn to use the information by following the ethical standard, providing citations, very important. Now, let's move on. The second video is called procrastination.
Do I procrastinate? Sure I do. Sometimes I just get too overloaded with too much information coming at me. Learn this, write this, turn this in.
I don't need to wait until the last minute, but I work 2 different jobs and have so little time.
I know I can always find something online, even at the last minute.
I can't always be studying. I mean, college is about having some fun, even if it's only a little bit.
At 2 a.m., the night before it's due, when I've got all the stuff I need and I start writing like crazy, it just comes to me. That's when I'm creative.
Maybe I'll see something on the bus, a billboard, a newspaper, a book someone's reading, and it gives me an idea for my paper.
With all the work from other classes, I just prioritize what's due from week to week and go from there.
I wait and I wait for the professor to say something. Give me some more guidance about what they expect.
Sometimes I delay working on school stuff because, well, I'm just feeling lazy, just too tired to do much of anything.
Here we go. We come to the second very important topic of information literacy, particularly when we have a project to do. Most of us fell into this particular literacy trap, often more than any other. That it's know that, oh, we have time to do something, but out of the 100% of time to do something, I spend normally 10% actually doing something and spend the other 90% of time worrying or because of other concerns, I just cannot get stuck doing something. And so when professors or teachers give you 10 days time to do a piece of homework, and normally 8 days of not doing anything, until the very last 2 days, and then you want more days to be left for you to do something. Now that is a trend, but this trend is not uncommon in the world. And so when they talk about information literacy for students today, they include this as a very important contact for you to be self-aware. Never put off anything. When you have something, they're waiting for you to discover more because you need time to do it. Procrastinating is the biggest obstacle to progress of anything. So make sure you understand that. What if, welcome back, Kenneth, you continue to procrastinate? In the context of information literacy, the only possible result is when you know that you need more relevant information in order to satisfy the requirement of that piece of work we call research, then you end up right here.
What's frustrating about conducting research is when I type in keywords and I get a whole bunch of results, which sounds good, but so much of what's there is insanely irrelevant.
Just getting started on a research assignment is the most difficult part of the research process for me.
It's not knowing the right words to use when I search. Let's see, I'll call my topic this, so now, what does someone else call it who may have published something about it?
I always have trouble narrowing down a topic for the assignment.
Finding statistics is hard. You're looking for some specific statistics, and you have to go through a million articles, and then you may never find something you can use.
A lot of the time, it's a case of information overload. The more I know, the less I realize that I know. It can be kind of depressing.
I never can find that perfect source, the one I know I really want, so I eventually settle. I say this isn't perfect, it's not what I really wanted to write about, but it will work, so I'll go with it.
What's frustrating is when I look on the library shelves and I find some stuff, but it turns out to be 10 or 20 years old. Gee, that's hardly what we call up to date. I can't use this stuff.
It's not so much doing the research part of the assignment that's difficult, it's actually writing the paper.
What's the research process supposed to be about anyway? Is there some right way I'm supposed to do it? I mean, I always feel like I've got to create some new system each time.
The frustrations, the limitations, they remind me we're still living in the early days of the internet. There's information out there that should be readily accessible that we assume is, and it is not though. That's just the way it is.
But the idea of frustrations is, you know that in order to produce a quality work, a piece of quality work, you need good data, good sources for information. And in order to look at those relevant and good sources of information, you have to go through the discovery process. And as you tell all of us, there's so many different steps in the discovery process. It takes time. So the sooner we start, the better. So the other possible consequences that you may encounter when you procrastinate in doing your project, information literacy experience tells that you might be frustrated because you cannot just get what you want, okay? So how are we going to deal with this problem? So the next video, which is about another 2 minutes time, tells us that you've got to be smart enough to use strategies. Strategies is a key word.
If you want to know the truth, by the time you get to college, no one says to you, well, this is the efficient way to do research. Find information. You do this on this day, and at this point. Then you have to come back to it later on. This saves time. You have to come up with some method to get through.
I start by figuring out what the question is. What does the professor want? Then I look up sources, I take some notes, then I write the paper. I pretty much have it down.
When I need some background and to get started on an assignment, Wikipedia is where I go.
I might ask an instructor about going in a certain direction. For me, this keeps the paper from going off in a different tangent. Who knows? Might lead to a better grade, too.
Depending on how big the paper is determines whether I need to go to the library or not. If I have 2 months, sure, I'll go to the library instead of relying on internet stuff.
Writing on a different topic may mean pulling from some different sources. Sometimes I have life experiences or examples I want to weave into the paper too.
Something really tough to answer, like trying to think of the word to use or how to narrow something down, I might ask someone for help.
After I look at the course readings, then I simply look up the citations on JSTOR. It gets me through.
I see research as involving the same steps, the same sources each time. I always say, if it works, then why change it?
You need to keep in mind when you're doing college study over these next 3 to 4 years is when you have to do a lot of courses. Each one of these courses, when you get higher, senior or junior, you might have to do some kind of research. Research means you try to create a question of your interest, which is relevant to the subject of your study. And then you try to provide some convincing argument of why this question is important and what it can give you as a student, which could be the evidence of your accomplishment in this specific subject. So you need some methods. You need some time to work out if the method will give you what you want based on the data you discover. And so we tell you this because all this requires some of your strategic thinking. You think ahead. For example, in your English language classes, which is offered by ELC, in the past semester, they try to engage you in something called Pay It Forward project. Have you ever experienced that? Pay It Forward project. Okay? The Pay It Forward project tells you, here is a problem in living in Macau, okay? Can you give us your perspective of the problem and suggest possible solutions of the problem? And a couple of students like you who group together, spend some time to refine the problem produced by the teacher and then produce new definitions of the problem from your perspective and look up related information and provide suggested solutions. And in the process of doing that, one thing that is very often observed in students is, how do you discover information? Where, when, and why is it relevant? And normally, well, student has a lot of weeks. They know, well, if I want this information, let me go to this source. That's the best. If I want this information, I go to the other source. That's the best. Because that has been the source we have been using for a lot of things. So automatically we go back to the traditional, conventional proof test sources. And then we got some information. For example, in Macau, where you got the news? Where? Where you got the news in Macau? Newspaper? Okay. Any other idea? Where you got the news in Macau? Radio? Televisions? Okay. You may ask which television stations in Macau you want to watch. TDM, okay. Any other who would like to watch any other, because in Macau now we have several, right? So, okay. Do you watch TDM news? No. For what reason? You watch it. Okay. If you don't watch TDM news, what other news you watch? You don't watch TDM, okay. Thank you. It's very good. All right. So what we're trying to tell you is, I'm not commenting on what exactly is the best of it, but we're trying to tell you that you have to have some strategies in thinking through the work. And information literacy, in the context of this course, is helping you to experience the process of looking up related information, use them properly after evaluations, and give credit to the sources. And oftentimes, what questions? And remember, in learning contract number 1, we invite you to produce your personal proposal, right? And that is exactly, we want to see what question you have in mind. All right? So that is very important. Now, the last one is called finding content. In actually, I've done it already. So let me see, do we have any student who would like to share today? Let's go back to the forum here. And, oh, there's no student who signed up for sharing today. Or, am I right? So far, I do not see any sign up on this page, which is not with public discussion forum. Have I missed anything? And you want to sign up? You want to share, right? Did you sign right here? Oh, you need to post it here because that's a call for sign up. But anyway, you have a chance. The most important thing is you must sign up again here. Because later on you need to tell that I need some sharing by signing up here, and that is my setup, okay? So we can easily copy and paste back in, okay? So 2 students, one after the other together. Okay, could I give the microphone to you? And then I go back to the camera. Do you need a computer? Okay, you can go ahead and use USB or whatever it is. Introduce yourself when you do this here, okay? Thank you very much. Okay. Do you know how to use it to get your USB? Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, we can get started. It's from Sherry and Sarah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sarah, and my partner is Sherry. And today we are going to share a topic which is what is social responsibility in the information age.
Welcome. Thank you.
Do you guys know what is it? And let's watch a video.
Thank you.
The social responsibility program is an innovative program, probably that is not duplicated anywhere else that we have been able to find. It is a program that integrates the issues of social justice, environment, animals, and peace.
I would suggest that we're really talking about civil skills. That what we're asking people to do is not simply spectators in the political process. And I would suggest that just showing up to vote once every 2 to 4 years is barely out of the category of spectator. I think we have a culture that encourages that. And so I think part of a program like this is both on an individual level to give people the tools to be engaged in a process which is not as democratic as we would like to think it is. So learn some of the assertive skills it takes to be engaged in the process, while also developing means for other people to be invited through that process, be motivated to be involved. So I see it both on a personal level as far as tools to engage yourself, but my sense is that the program is really trying to help discover, create, craft, design means by which people can be involved in their lives.
What I think is so unique and so important about social responsibility is it takes the world connection as a whole. It takes a combination of anthropology, sociology, human relations, and basically brings it all together, and it basically connects the entire world as a whole. So it's not issues of gender or race or just animals or the environment. It interconnects our entire world. And that I think is so amazing and unique about this program is to show that what impacts one person, one race, one country impacts the rest of the world.
I like the terms social responsibility because it's concerned about the social well-being. We fulfill our responsibility for the society, for social well-being. By social well-being, I meant social relations, community, and harmony between humans and the rest of nature.
We have a saying in our community, which is, you only take what you need and you leave the rest. That's our belief. You only take what you need and you leave the rest. Because to not do so would be disrespectful. And in being disrespectful, you're not guaranteed that you're going to be able to continue harvesting. That's the reality. If you're disrespectful, there's no guarantee. If you insult creation, there's no guarantee that you'll be able to continue harvesting.
Social responsibility means being socially responsible individual and doing that, doing things for the community, both locally and globally, thinking outside the box, not just doing things here in Minnesota, but taking into consideration places all around the world.
Social responsibility is having the courage and some ability to be able to trace social events back to their causes and to appreciate, of course, the interconnectedness between those causes and other phenomena that are happening, and sufficient concern to be able to take that information and do something with it in the form of correctness.
After watching the video, do you know what is social responsibility now? And my observation is about the social responsibility in the information age. The main idea is that how can we adjust the development of the technology can accelerate the rate of economic growth, but at the same time we also need to concern our social responsibility that to maintain the stable of the society and control the development of technology. And it is important to protect our information and even our personal privacy, which cannot be stolen from others. And about the interpretation, until now the information cannot be deleted or removed from the internet at all. I think it is impossible to remove all the information that you upload because the internet makes it easy for everyone to become an author, and you can publish everything you like, and once you publish it or upload it to the internet, you cannot remove it forever because at the moment you post it to the internet, everyone can watch it and everyone can cap it or download it, so it cannot remove it forever. And now I pass the mic to my partner, Shelley.
And the next question is that after 10 years, will the information technology become an important element of the development of the society? From my perspective, the technique of the technology has already been an important element of the country. And also, I believe that the society would like to be focused on the development of the international information technology. Therefore, the problem should be solved as fast as possible. And after 10 years, I think the technology can be a soft power of the country. Yes, and to conclude, to conclude that the development of the technology can accelerate the rate of economic growth. But at the same time, we also need to concern our social responsibility that to maintain the stable of the society and control the technology is going to developing in a right way. The social responsibility of the government is that to improve the laws or make a good security system to protect all the information that cannot be stolen and used in an illegal way. On the other hand, for the human beings, I think the most obvious social responsibility is that we are using the technology products in a correct way generally. That's all my presentation. Thank you.
Well, we thank you for Sharon and Sherry to help us to understand the context of social responsibility. They did a very good work in terms of sharing their observations, giving us the video, help us to understand the questions they have in mind, and finally give us the conclusion. Yes, okay. Maybe. Now, the time now is 3:25. I'm going to open up 10 minutes of question and answer so that you can ask me anything about your upcoming learning contract number 1. You can also talk about your table member to see where you are. First of all, you need to read my teacher's message to get update on the items that you need to submit. And you can also see on the website here, you have the upcoming event, which are the links, okay? To help capture each one of the artifacts. For example, your online journal, you can click on this link and then you can get access to the submission link, the discussion detail, the discussions report, your individual proposal, the peer meeting minutes, and finally is your personal blog after working on the topic of your choice. Okay, remember, the topic of your choice means no matter how many questions there in 1 week's reading, you just need to pick one question. No matter how many weeks are there you're done, if they're all together 16 questions, you just need to do one question for your discussion. Okay? And also for your blog. But in your journal, when you select which week's journal to do, if there are 2 questions there in that week, you must provide 2 sets of OIA, one for each question in that week's journal. Okay? And remember, out of the 4 weeks, you just need to submit 1 week's journal. But for the other 3 weeks' journal, you better do it before the end of the semester. Okay? Because we expect that by the end of the semester, at least you have done 10 weeks journals. Okay? Although we have 15 weeks, but we only require that you get 10 weeks done. Alright? So 10 weeks is good enough for you to handle all the topics here. So I'm here. You can ask me questions. Oh, yes. The actual submission links are at the bottom of the UN Moodle site. As you can see right here, submission link for learning contract 0011, 001-123-456 item. Okay? This is, we click on this. The actual collection time will start on this Saturday, 12 a.m. Okay? 12 a.m. on the 8th of March. And it will end on 11:55 p.m. next Monday. So you have 3 days time to submit your work. Okay? What? The whole contract for learning contract number 1 has 6 items. So you see 6 different submissions and one for each item. Okay? Learning journal, pair discussion, 4 weeks detail, pair discussion report means the report to topic. Then individual blog is your blog, which is based on your topic of choice. Okay? You took the topic to discuss with your member. That's the topic. Okay? Shortened version, not long. Okay? Remember, normally the blog is not more than 500 words. Okay? You don't need to write a long blog. Do not do copy and paste from the Wikipedia. Okay? You can check it easily. And then and we take a minute, just follow the formats provided, okay? Oh yes, that's the business of in end of April or early May. The midterm exam is just a discussion question. Exactly what you have been doing in the learning contract will be the way midterm exam is designed. No memorize. You don't need to memorize anything. You need to select a question for discussion in the midterm exam. And then you need to discuss with your member about it. And at the end, we need to write your blog. Okay? Something like this. Yes, the midterm is just an exercise to help you see for yourself. After 3 learning contracts, and we'll come to the midterm. And after having done 3 learning contracts like this, you should feel comfortable enough to this comment on discussions. And then the midterm is just like picking a topic on your own and discuss it in the context of 2 hours with your partner and coming up with your drawing. Handing that means complete. Well, when you complete it on this side, you do not need to hand it in because I can easily see it in your submission link. Not one single question. Each journal must include as many sets of OIA as there are questions in that week's reading. For example, journal is based on each week. Okay, sometimes you have 2 questions 1 week, and on the other week you have 3 questions. So if you choose to do the journal, for the first week it's 2 questions, 2 sets of OIA. In the second week you have 3 questions, 3 sets of OIA, 1 set per question. The journal, in terms of doing journal, you must finish all the questions in the journal. At most, the 3 questions in week number 3, not more than 3 or 4, I don't remember. And then for each question, you select an item, and for that item, you do 1 set of OIA. Yeah. And if that is the item, you select to do discussions with your partner. Because in order to, and not all the questions, only 1, for discussion with your partner. 1 is good enough. Don't kill your partner by discussing so many. 1 is good enough because he would like your help too, okay? That in journal, you have to go through all the topic because in going through all the questions in the journal, you know the context of this course, okay? But for discussions, 1 per learning contract. That's why I say you have to be adjusting. Originally speaking, you just have to help 1 member to do the discussion. So in the context of 3, you might have to do 1 more discussions with other member, or he might have to do 1 more, or she might have to do 1 more, something like this. So you understand, that's the tricky things about 3 questions per pair. But the beauty is you have more discussion, at least do 1 more discussion. Yes. Oh, that's a very important question. That means after 4 weeks of study, you might have something you want to explore, okay? And that something is will be presented in the individual learning proposal, which contains number 1, the name of the topic. Just give the name of the topic. Number 2, 3 questions related to that topic. 3 simple questions, not essential questions. Okay. Number 3, 3 to 5 relevant references concerning that topic you can find. Okay. And finally, 1 simple paragraph, not more than 200 pages, which describes something. This is like a mini proposal, research proposal. Because if you come up with questions of your own, this is something you want to do, and you put all these in a Microsoft Word document, and you submit a Microsoft Word document, that is the proposal. And of course, you need to include a name. That is on an individual basis, not on a name. Any question? Yeah, the topic should best be chosen within the context of this course, web technology online, it's very big, all right? Yes, yeah, in relations to the topics from week 1 to 4. But it could also be any other topic of your interest, as long as under the umbrella of this course. Yes. If you say, oh, well, what about doing a Ludo course? That is not very relevant, right? Cooking noodles. Maybe you say, cooking noodles online. How can we do that? That would be interesting, right? So, do you understand that today when you go to see a Chinese medicine doctor, they put their finger on your pulses and they will determine what kind of illness you have. Today, you don't need to go physically to the Chinese medicine doctor. If you're at home, if your computer has what we call interface device, you put the interface device on your hand, and the doctor will be able to listen or have his hand feel on the other hand. He could actually listen to the pulses in your body, even over distance. Yes, this is what is possible. Yes, yes. 其實係一樣嘅，即係左手邊嗰啲啊嘛，因為左手邊嗰啲範圍有 submissions 嘅嘢咧，佢嘅 outcome 咧唔同啊，呢個係 discussion forum， 下邊嗰啲係 submission 嚟，下邊係交功課員，嗰啲係你入去討論。下邊嗰啲咧即係話你將你嘅製作咗嗰啲叫 Microsoft 嗰啲 document， 我要 upload 上去，即係將你個 learning journal upload 咗嚟 Microsoft document save 之後咧，你用就 upload 到 Microsoft document。呢個就係 upload 你嗰個 discussion forum 嘅 details， 因為你喺上面做嘢之後咧，你就有你嘅 partner 討論嘅 detail， 咁你 copy and paste detail 同 Microsoft 嘅 document。你喺呢度 upload，report 就係嗰個 report， 兩個 topic report，blog 就係你個 blog。我仲未講嘅有一個 blog 咧，其實呢度你可以將你個 blog 咧先 publish 咗出嚟先喺右手邊嘅 blog man， 呢度 blog man 呢個就喺個上邊或者 blog man 上，我會俾埋你哋，但係而家唔使急，因為你交咗先，做咗佢交咗啲嘢先，我可以之前開嘅。Okay? Everyone can make boxes, right? Yes.
果係 pair discussion 嘅話，就 copy 我哋先。
Yes, you still have questions. Very good. You're asking a lot of productive questions. Yes. Yeah. Right here. Now it's not open yet because it will open on March the 8th. When it's March the 8th, you will see there's a browse button here. And you use the browse button to go to the video, pick up the file, and then just upload the file. Only start from this Saturday, from 12 a.m. this Saturday to 11:55 p.m. next Monday. 3 days time. They will be ready, right? So you cannot see the submission link now because it's not open. All right, let me take attendance first, okay? It's very important that we give attendance. So we have Kenny here. Sorry. Your here is very good. Okay. Sarah, thank you. And then Kara, thank you. Joanna, thank you. Josini, thank you. Luffy, yes, thank you. Sherry, thank you. Nicole, are you here? Thank you. Nana, thank you. Vicky, thank you. Helen, thank you. Joanne, thank you. Winston, thank you. Greg is not here. Kathy, thank you. Cersei, thank you. Wendy, thank you. That's very good. You're all here. So remember, the journal, the discussion forum, the report, the blog is the process of helping you to establish the information literacy capacity. Okay, it's very important. And also is a measure of your management of your time. Within 1 week's time, you can at least manage one topic. Okay, so if you cannot make it this time, it's okay. But keep this in mind. You have to catch up just like when you play a football. This is a sporty event. Okay. So it's very good that I have you here today. I could end the class earlier, but if you still want to hear something more, now here's something I could get you. You will notice that I have not discussed with you throughout this forward the very important topic which is stated in day 01 called blended learning. Okay? Blended learning is also a key term, as you can see from this course support online. Yes, I would like you to know what is meant by blended learning. Now, blended learning is actually a mode of interactions between teacher and student. Normally, we expect you to come to class 2 times a week, and for each time, 1.5 hours. That is called a physical, face-to-face interactions. Okay? But since we have this very good learning management system called Moodle, the learning could actually be extended outside of the classroom wall. And you can see I put all the learning resources on this environment, which is 24/7 for you to use. So, in other words, the interactions between you as the student and the material there, as well as the teacher through this environment, is unlimited. This is an online interaction. So blended means is blending two things, face-to-face interactions and or 9 elements of interactions. Okay? But there is a little bit more that I can share with you. So if you have not actually reviewed that, it's a good time to take a look at it.
And that it meets our students' needs and learning styles. But have you ever wondered, what is blended learning? This is blended learning in plain English, inspired by Common Craft. To make sense of blended learning, we must first get an idea of what blended learning is not. Let's look at the revolution of teaching. 1801, invention of the blackboard. Read the passage I have written on the board and answer questions 1 through 5. 1960, invention of photocopiers. I run off some worksheets for you. Read the passage and answer questions 1 through 5. 1985, first computers hit schools. I've used a computer to create a worksheet. Read the passage and answer questions 1 through 5. Now we have even more access to technology, from personal laptops, smartphones, and tablets in our hands and those of our students. The use of technology needs to be harnessed in a way that fosters the inquiry process for students and engages them in the learning process that prepares them for a future that isn't here yet. I've created a web quest. Turn on your computer and follow the prompts to find questions 1 through 5 and answer them. But wait, if we use technology like tools in the 1800s, has teaching even changed? Have we created conditions for success for our 21st century learners? No. This is not blended learning. This may be substitution of one tool for another. It might be a step in the direction towards blended learning, but it's not true blended learning. Blended learning is a mix of face-to-face teaching or traditional teaching with the use of 21st century tools in a digital environment. The digital environment allows students who process information more quickly to have access to relevant materials immediately while exploring and learning in a non-linear fashion. The digital environment is called a learning management system, known as an LMS. Learning management systems allow teachers to create virtual classroom space for students to join their learning together. It builds a community of learners. An example LMS is Desire to Learn, or D2L. D2L has the same features as a physical classroom without the walls and paper. An LMS functions as a classroom with lessons, discussions, Dropbox, grades, quizzes, portfolio, class calendar, locker, checklists, glossaries, and any Web 2.0 tool you can think of. Web 2.0 tools can enhance the learning management system by expanding the potential within the learning environment. It can allow a student to demonstrate their learning in an alternate form or medium. Examples of these tools might be Prezi, Blogster, SlideShare, Vuvox, GeoGebra, Lineaway, VoiceThread, Evernote and Dropbox, Scoopit, and a multitude of Google apps that can be used for just about anything. Think of all the technology our students have access to: personal laptops, tablets, smartphones, MP3 players, video recorders. As a teacher, how do we use these tools to our students' advantage? We use blended learning. We'll meet the students in an environment they're familiar with, help them develop proficiency with tools they may need in the future, and will support their inquiry process. Blended learning fosters creation, the highest order thinking skill on Bloom's taxonomy, and lends itself to differentiated instruction. Blended learning also strengthens connections with parents, as it makes the classroom walls more transparent. Blended learning is awesome. I'm Jennifer Faulkner, and this has been Blended Learning in Plain English, inspired by Legal Fever and Common Craft.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. Look at that, the very last triangle. When you look at the very last triangle, they provide a lot of suggestions of the free of charge Web 2. You can use to help you to remember something, to understand something, to analyze something, to synthesize something. Now, starting in the second learning contract, I will start introducing to you some free of charge web tools that you can use to demonstrate your ability to handle web technologies in your learning. Okay? So, but you have the foundations of the first learning contract, including your journals, your discussion forum, your blog, and then your report. So I think that's it for today, and thank you very much for coming back. Looking forward to seeing you again next Monday, when you still have a couple more hours left to submit your learning contract number 1 artifacts, okay? So hopefully everyone will get the best out of it. And if you have difficulty, keep me in touch using my hotline, okay? So that's it for today's class, CISG 114, Section 1, Web Technology and Life, on March the 6th, 2014.